According to Themba Mliswa, he is of the opinion that it will be quite a dangerous move to unite the faction of Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, which has gotten away through hook and crook with Constitutional Amendment Act number 3 of 2026. Though I continue to say it is not yet done, Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa seems to be agreeing with me. Why do I say Mnangagwa? Because when you see individuals like Themba Mliswa speaking in such a manner and also posting the picture of him as well as Owen Mutangube. Remember, Blessed Keza pointed out that Owen Mutangube was the secret weapon which was used against the retired military generals, most of them who are underground at the moment as we are speaking. He played a fundamental role and is the right-hand man of Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. And also Themba Mliswa is a secret weapon of Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. Now, he is of the view that Chiwenga is still dangerous, and as such, he cannot, as well as other retired generals opposed. He characterized them as a faction of ZANU-PF that is opposed to Constitutional Amendment Act number 3 of 2026. He acknowledges that as much as now it may be to reconcile, but it will be quite dangerous to unite the faction of those opposed to Constitutional Amendment Act number 3 of 2026. Greetings and welcome to your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. We need to read what Themba Mliswa posted a few hours ago. He says ZANU-PF finds itself in a politically pivotal juncture following President Emerson Mnangagwa's enactment of Constitution of Zimbabwe Amendment Act number 3, Act 2026, amidst the broader implications of a democracy and its fundamental tenets. It is unnervingly evident that some party members not only opposed ACT but engaged in surreptitious efforts against it while remaining within the same party folds. So we know that he's speaking about retired General Chiwenga. The person that Themba Mliswa is pointing at is retired General Chiwenga, and also along other he is also speaking about retired Lieutenant Anselm Senyate. Also, we know that he's a staunch ally of retired General Chiwenga. He says, as much as it may be, he considers that in a party there are supposed to be disagreements, and that is part of democracy. But to him, he cannot accept that these people, even though Mnangagwa has actually gotten away with this bill through money, he understands. They have said, they have told him in his face that as much as you have actually done whatever you have done through crooked ways, we will not flinch to fight against this bill. And Themba Mliswa is realizing this. And he says, while one might argue that dissent is a hallmark of democracy, what I was speaking, democratic expression. However, when a party formally resolves that a particular stance becomes its official position, continuing to oppose it transcends mere dissent and devolves into a subversive act that warrants consequences. So according to Themba Mliswa, what has been done by individuals such as retired Air Marshal Mchena, as well as also retired General Chiwenga, retired Anselam Senyatwe, I am sure retired also General Rukeche is part, and amongst other host of retired generals. According to Themba Mliswa, they deserve to be punished for opposing the illegal constitutional amendment bill number 3 of 2026. But guess what? Mnangagwa cannot do that because he understands that these people are actually power brokers in ZANU-PF. It's not easy to just get rid of them. It's not easy to fire Chiwenga. It's not easy to go after retired Air Marshal Mchena. It's not easy to go after retired Lieutenant Anselam Senyatwe. That is why he was fired from the military but kept within the cabinet. Because you can't send that man home. That may actually cause drastic especially from the other factions. So according to Themba Mliswa, there should be consequences. We saw Chiwenga publicly opposing constitutional amendment bill number 3 through the Hosea scripture. We saw also Chiwenga opposing it through the Lazarus actually biblical allusion. I mean, he has spoken statements that short. He has never even endorsed this legal constitutional amendment Act number 3. He has, and also we've seen retired Air Marshal, Vice Air Marshal Mchena. Also, yes, they have all. I think all the generals under Chiwenga have remained adamant that the illegal constitutional amendment act, you know, you can have an act through hook and crook, but having it doesn't make it illegal, doesn't make it actually legal. In fact, you may have it, but still the act be actually illegal, as it is in Zimbabwe. So Themba Mliswa is saying it's dangerous to actually try to merge the other faction in ZANU-PF. So what is he proposing? He's proposing for consequences. What are those consequences? In simple terms, he is saying fire retired General Chiwenga, fire retired Anselam Senyatwe, fire, if it's not firing, eliminate them. That is what Themba Mliswa is simply saying. Or create criminal charges against them, send them to prison. That is the signal that he is trying to show. But remember, whatever Themba Mliswa is posting, don't ever think he is posting it out of a position of not being informed. He is actually, in fact, is testing waters. It may be, he is actually, it's Mnangagwa showing Chiwenga indirectly and other retired military generals that I'm coming after you, because we know these are actually the secret but now public weapons of Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, which have been used to deal with the late members of the deep state. And it continues to say, he says, the myriad forums provided during the deliberations on the act, such as the conference, were ample opportunities for democratic dissent. Once the party has reached a conclusion, such dissent loses its legitimacy. He goes on to say political parties are voluntary entities and individuals are entitled to resign when the party's doctrine conflicts with their principles. He has been Themba Mliswa consistent on asking retired General Chiwenga to resign since the bill that he was opposed to has sailed through. This is a clear indication that Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa is not settled, even though declaring himself a winner in this race. He is not comfortable with having individuals such. When Themba Mliswa speaking, it is the indirect voice of Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. He is revealing or depicting the feelings of of Emerson Mnangagwa cannot say so to these retired generals because he understands be a game changer. If he says so, it will be an all-out, unavoidable war. So he goes on to say, it is fundamental to recognize that the democratic rights enshrined in a democratic framework do not grant individuals uncheckered authority to undermine their own party from within. So are undermining their own party from within. It is the retired generals. It goes on to say the politicians who expressed dissent, whether directly or through proxies. Who is that who opposed directly or through proxies? It is Chiwenga. What are the proxies of Chiwenga in this regard? He may not expose them. He is speaking about a vice marshal, retired Mchena. He is also speaking about Knox Chivero as well as Blessed Geza. These are what axes and other individuals, the account of Winston Sikauke Mapranga. There are many, some who have deflected from opposition, supporting the retired General Chiwenga faction. That is what Themba Mliswa calls them proxies. He is also a proxy of Emerson Mnangagwa. You know, it's quite interesting that another proxy calls out other proxies. So yet choosing to retain their membership manifest the core issues, an insatiable thirst for power rather than genuine ideological disagreement. So he is simply saying Chiwenga was of the opinion that this bill should not sail through. It has sailed through. It is not what he believed in. Why then is he remaining in ZANU-PF? He is supposed to resign. This is pressure that is mounted through proxies by Emerson Mnangagwa to retired General Chiwenga in an effort to try to force him to resign. That is exactly in simple terms the strategy that is being employed in this regard by Emerson Mnangagwa through his proxies. He says the act has inadvertently become a scapegoat perceived as a barrier to their unbridled aspirations. So he is saying Chiwenga was fighting against this act because what he is in simple terms is saying this was just a cover-up. What he's interested in is the position of Emerson Mnangagwa. Of course, we know that he is correct. There was a deal for Mnangagwa after 5 years to hand over to retired General Chiwenga. He hasn't been faithful in that regard. By the way, it is him who gave him that thing. So when he demands him, it is his thing. If we are to look at this particular conflict, then he goes on to say, consequently, the party now grapples with the formidable challenges of reconciling a dangerous faction whose ambition propels them to contend against the very institution to which they belong, and those who toiled for the same act. So Themba Mliswa, let me see, Themba Mliswa going after retired General Chiwenga as well as other retired generals. He actually identifies them as a security threat within ZANU-PF, and as such, in simple terms, he is actually saying to them, you should resign to ZANU-PF party. At the same time, he is saying there should be consequences for these people, and they are dangerous within ZANU-PF. I think what Themba Mliswa is saying, he is actually underscoring what I said in the previous live broadcast, that the silence of the retired generals, if one can read it, the defeat, then it's serious misunderstanding of the politics of Zimbabwe. This battle and this war, it is far from being over. In fact, it is game on. The fight is still on, and now it has intensified. However, we are not going to physically see it. It is happening behind the scenes. The moment you hear announcement, it will be almost a concluded fight. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe. I think also the point before I go that I wanted to underscore, you would hear some within the Chiwenga faction or some supporting Chiwenga saying Chiwenga is taking a lot of time. Look at also Temba Mliswa, that is his concern, that Mnangagwa is delaying to act against the other faction. So it's not an easy act, especially to act against a person who is the sitting head of state. It has to be well calculated and well thought. Thank you very much. I think now it will be for the last time. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. You can financially support this channel by pressing the join button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and send us stars. Is signing off. Let me love and leave you. Let's meet on the other side.